and also means that the Gideon is then outside of Glory Bringer range on the way back. If you make an emblem, that's pretty sweet too, as then you're not worried about protecting the Gideon the next turn. So several good options here.
Well, I think he likes this one the best, which is turn Gideon into a pretty large creature and start getting into the red zone. So that'll attack along with Scrap Heap Scrounger and the Thalia. And on defense here for McDonough, just a couple copies of Thraben Inspector. And he's all tapped out, so it's pretty clear what his options are. Looks like there will at least be one chump block here on Gideon. 6 damage is going to come across. McDonough's going to fall down to 7. Jessup. 1 card left in hand. Unlicensed Disintegration's a
not bad for leftovers.
A pretty good card to have left over. McDonough down to 4.
Well, if he's thinking this long, it can't be something that good. Yeah. No, it's the best one.
Yep. Crack a clue. Gonna need a real good one here. He drew his own copy of Unlicensed Disintegration, I believe.
He's just on the ropes, though.
Scrap Heap Scrounger's going to go after Gideon. Pretty quick block here from Jessup. These two will trade. Spire of Industry and a passing of the turn. Jessup going to untap with his Gideon, his Scrap Heap Scrounger, his Thalia, his Walking Ballista that's been on 1 all game long.
Might be time to dial up the vent, too.
Trying to find a way to cross the old finish line here. Gideon going up. Everybody coming on in. Thalia and Gideon will be blocked. 4 damage still going to come through. Unlicensed Disintegration is going to take care of Scrap Heap Scrounger. Yep, and Jessup says, I'm going to put a +1/+1 counter on my Walking Ballista, and then I'll fire the last 2 bullets over at you once the damage is dealt. And that is correct. Andrew Jessup's going to win game number 1 here over Ryan McDonough. Mardu Vehicles up a game over Mardu Vehicles. And now, ooh, we might have some similar sideboards here. All the 2s and the 1s. And I'm going to start with Ryan McDonough, who's going to be on the play, who's got 2 Chandra Torch of Defiance, 2 Fumigate, 2 Nahiri the Harbinger, 2 Oath of Liliana, 2 Release the Gremlins, an Anguish Unmaking, an Archangel Avacyn, a Magma Spray, an Oath of Chandra, and a Very Painful Truths.
Seen these plans before. Different cards, but all variations of the same thing. I think the Oaths and the Planeswalkers come in here, the Release the Gremlins as well, the Archangel Avacyn, and the Anguish Unmaking. Try to play the Planeswalker game.
Other side of things here for Andrew Jessup. He's got 2 Nahiri the Harbinger, 2 Oath of Liliana, 2 Release the Gremlins of his own, 2 Sorin Grim Nemesis, 2 Transgress the Mind, Anguish Unmaking, another copy of Cut to Ribbons, Fumigate, Magma Spray, and Painful Truths. I imagine they're just going to be on similar game plans.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit better for Andrew to have Fumigate than McDonough because Andrew is the one with all the Archangel Avacyns, McDonough only boarding up to 1. But again, same deal here. Oaths, Planeswalkers, flexible spot removal.
We'll see some Release the Gremlins, I'm sure, from each player, as that's a popular mirror match tool, but it gets a little bit grindy after sideboard. Some aggressive starts can certainly occur, but we'll see how each player does elect the sideboard here, and McDonough will be on the play here for game number 2. In the meantime, while these players do get ready for game number 2, we want to talk one last time here about Grand Prix Richmond being hosted by StarCityGames.com next weekend, where we'll have John Avon as our guest of honor, Amonkhet Sealed, and Booster Draft for our main event, even a Sunday PTQ, and Jeremy Knoll of Split Second is going to tell you more about it right now.
On May 5th through the 7th, make plans to be part of Magic the Gathering history when StarCityGames.com proudly presents Grand Prix Richmond. Play in the Amonkhet Limited Format main event to compete for thousands of dollars in prizes and a spot on the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour. Select the 3-day Infinite Challenge package to compete in all challenge events for one low price, while also walking away with the exclusive Glory Bound Initiate playmat. All Friday challenges are also Grand Prix trials. Come out early and compete for buys in the main event and more chances to claim a Glory Bound Initiate playmat. Prefer 100-card formats? Register for the Ultimate Commander package to play in 4 Commander on-demand events and take home a Commander vs. playmat and Ultimate Guard Boulder deck case. Want to play on Magic's grandest stage? Compete in the Pro Tour qualifier on Sunday and receive a Progenitus Foil promo card just for playing, plus the chance for an invitation to Pro Tour Hour of Devastation in Kyoto, Japan. And don't forget to come say hello to Grand Prix Richmond's many special guests, including cosplayer Vanessa Martin and an artist alley full of fan favorites headlined by guest of honor John Avon. Be part of Magic the Gathering history. Register for Grand Prix Richmond today.
StarCityGames.com/GP Richmond for more information. Register today. Get ready for some Amonkhet fun in the River City. Of course, that is Richmond, Virginia. May 5th through the 7th. An opportunity to meet John Avon, who's obviously drawn some of Magic's finest lands and so much more. Amonkhet Sealed and Booster Draft, a great limited format. Hang out, have some fun. Looking forward to that event. Looking forward to a little Amonkhet Booster Draft when I get back to the room.
What happened to the GP grind that you were on? Surprised you weren't attending Grand Prix Richmond.
I have the Smartenth Invitational next week.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Okay.
That is a totally fine excuse.
Yes.
The Smartenth Invitational.
Yes. I want to call it a classic.
Hey,
only it's his third year. Third or fourth year? Third year, I think.
Somewhere on the spectrum from unsanctioned to underground Magic. The Smartenth Invitational is a great event.
There will be a report.
Yeah.
About it on Star City Games. I'm the defending champion, by the way, so I have to kind of keep my title and keep my crown.
Yeah.
And they're coming after my Seattle friends are coming after me this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't care what anyone says. The best name for a tournament of all time.
The Smartenth Invitational is really good.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
So we'll go over it in a podcast sometime. Got some fun formats. Did one last year. You can read about it on Star City. Good time. Good time. That's the only reason I'm not going. It's because I have to attend that tournament. That's it. Because we're going to some. So we like rent a house somewhere in Seattle, or like outside of Seattle, like north or east or whatever.
Somewhere near with a view of Mount Rainier, one of those Pacific
like
Northwest shots.
We're going
lake and the green trees.
There's like a pass. There's a pass in Washington when you're going to Spokane. We're going past the pass, which I've never done before, and like Cle Elum, I think it's called. And there's like a house. We got like a house out there on Airbnb, and we're just going to be there for a couple of days, just playing Magic, having fun, sharing stories and everything, being ridiculous, and just this is our version of vacation for me and my 8 friends in Seattle.
In Seattle, in the Pacific Northwest, it doesn't take a whole long time to get out from the city, even if you're inside.
Not really. I mean, the city's big.
I went out to Enumclaw once.
Okay.
To go target shooting, and I felt like I was in the middle of nowhere real fast.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Doesn't take much.
Kind of nice.
Doesn't take much. So going out in the woods, gonna have limited internet probably, which is tough for me, but I'll figure something out.
But what will you do about all your content?
Yeah. What about my tweet of the day that people need to know about?
Yep.
How's anyone gonna live?
But I make content for a living.
That's right. I'm gonna have to front load it.
Yeah.
That's all. I hope everyone will be okay.
Aren't you, not to make too fine of a point on it,
but you're going to.
Aren't you perpetually front loading? I feel like every day I log on and my feed's been what you would describe as front loaded.
That's right. That's right. I try to stay ahead of the game. That's all. Try to just stay ahead of the game. But it should be fun. Grand Prix Richmond will be a blast. I really do wish I was going because I'm really into this format. Been playing a lot, been winning a lot. I think it's been a lot of fun.
You and I are both invested, and I can tell because we were vocally talking trash to our nameless opponents during the loudly
during our games last night. McDonough's on 6, Andrew's on 7. He'll start with a swamp again. For McDonough, it's a shambling vent. It's an inspiring vantage here for McDonough. And now it's a scrap heap scrounger. Jessup has a concealed courtyard and a Heart of Kieran. In for 3 comes McDonough. Jessup's going to fall down to 17. And now here's a Heart of Kieran for Ryan. So Andrew will untap. It's time to take a draw. He's got a copy of Fatal Push in the grip. He is ready for that Heart of Kieran.
He has a Release the Gremlins as well, which could be very good on this opening from McDonough, especially with him down a card. Remains to be seen if he has red mana.
Well, there's a Plains. And here's Scrap Heap Scrounger. Pass the turn back. McDonough will draw, picks up a Plains. That's land number 4 for, I believe, Nahiri number 1. But we'll see how Ryan wants to move forward here. Interesting turn there from Jessup, because he could have just fired in with the Heart of Kieran. And you say, you know what? I'm going to pass on that.
I think he's looking to play a little bit of defense here.
Here's no Chandra. Scrounger will turn on Heart of Kieran, it appears. Yep. Spire of Industry. And no attacks.
Bit of a win there for Jessup, I would say, on that turn. Trade your Scrounger for a removal spell. Got to be kind of happy with that.
I wouldn't be too upset.
Didn't get attacked when you're behind. Artifacts remaining on the battlefield, so if you do draw red mana, then that Release the Gremlins gets really good.
Push. We'll take care of the Scrounger for now. Jessup will draw, and I like where he is at if he's got a untapped land because he has a Gideon.
And he drew an Ether Hub as well, which is not a permanent source of red, but if he's looking to do some serious work with Release the Gremlins, he's only going to need one crack at it.
Yeah, it's good enough. There's Standard's best card.
And for someone in Jessup's spot who's been to the finals 5 times and hasn't won, you start to wonder if you're getting snake bait a little bit. You're up a game, your opponent mulligans, and you know how important it is for you to draw red mana, and you can feel the stress drawing that hub. That's one step closer.
Time to tick down maybe on the Gideon to turn on Heart of Kieran.
I think I would push back on the notion of Standard's best card. I think if you're most likely card to be banned, definitely.
Getting the Standard's best card, I don't even think it's close.
If we're talking relationship with winning while drawn, I think it might be Thraben Inspector. They go in the same deck, so it's blurry. It's blurry.
They do. I mean, Thraben Inspector is very good, no doubt.
Gideon is more egregious, which maybe is part of the definition here.
We go back over to Jessup. Looks like he has a Sorin in hand too, so it could be a Planeswalker party here very soon.
We got ahead on the battlefield here a little bit too, so now McDonough can't even cast the Nahiri in hand.
And we are in the elimination rounds where players have access to each other's deck lists, so if you're Andrew Jessup, there are no Avacons to worry about.
Well, there's one in the board.
Okay, pardon me, pardon me.
There is just the one.
Up goes Gideon. See what McDonough has here. Maybe an Anguish Unmaking? It'll be an Unlicensed Disintegration. Okay. So Gideon will fall down to 2. And now it is active. It's also going to turn on Heart of Kieran, maybe. Looks like we'll have release. That'll take care of Hart. 2-2 on the way. There's a Gremlin. Our first of the weekend. And now here comes an attack for 9. McDonough's going to fall down to 11.
And the difference between 2 and 1 here isn't significant with an empty battlefield and the Shambling Vent. Plus, if the Oath of Chandra triggers, it's 2 damage anyway. So no harm there on Jessup's side for reducing Gideon's loyalty from 2 to 1.
Canyon slew the land that entered the battlefield tap there for Jessup. He passes the turn back over to McDonough with a commanding advantage.
And I like the release of the Gremlins because it cuts off the threat of Glorybringer. McDonough now with no artifacts on the battlefield doesn't have access to double red.
Very smart. That's a Gideon here from McDonough, but his is pretty late.
Well, this is not bad. I mean, the Oath of Chandra takes care of the Gideon.
Very true.
It's something.
We'll have to see if Jessup has a way to fire up that Heart.
Well, he doesn't, but I believe he has land number 6 along with Sorin.
Oh, that'll fire it up too.
Now, as far as consolation prizes go, not the worst.
Jessup surveying the battlefield. You mentioned how he's been to the finals 5 times and doesn't have that trophy just yet. Up a game in a pretty good spot. Pretty good hand, too. He's got to think he's getting closer.
Yeah, but it's, you know, you're starting to get stressed about lacking red mana, and then that comes off the top. And then you start to think you're really pulling ahead, but your opponent's able to work their way through the Gideon and now play their own. It is never easy.
Sorin, Grim Nemesis. Which mode does Jessup want to use? Starts on 6. That's the easy part.
I mean, if you go down and take care of the Gideon, then you lose it to any activation, any Planeswalker through Oath of Chandra. So this is the juicy line here. And in the event that McDonough had something like a Fatal Push to take care of the Heart, you can still minus and go down to 1 and force him to have something.
So in combination with Sorin, Heart of Kieran able to take care of the Gideon. Now for Ryan McDonough, as he's being outclassed with cards, he'll play an Ahiri to try to catch back up. He'll plus, discard a mountain, draw a card.
I think Jessup is really pulling ahead now.
Oath of Chandra will trigger. It'll bring Sorin down to 4, but we're going to go back over to Andrew, who can untap with some amount of confidence here and draw a card.
One more big draw from Jessup should do it. He may not even need it.
Has a copy of Fatal Push. Looks like he's going to tick up his Sorin. The reveal is a Scrap Heap Scrounger. McDonough will fall down to 9. Push will take care of the Knight Ally. Down goes Sorin to turn this on. In for 6. And Jessup says, I'm going after you. I don't care about Nahiri. The follow-up is a Scrap Heap Scrounger, Shambling Vent, and it's a commanding battlefield here for Andrew. McDonough will draw, maybe his last draw of the tournament.
He's got to beat a lot of stuff right now.
And it's coming from a lot of different directions. McDonough's had a nice run in this tournament too, no doubt. Another top 8 for him. Did take care of Brennan DeCandio in the quarterfinals. He's going to start by activating the Hiri. He'll discard a Scrap Heap Scrounger. Time to draw. Heart of Kirin in hand. I'll tell you, Soren's a lot to overcome.
McDonough with none in his list, going to Chandra instead. Obviously, very different cards, and 4 versus 6 mana is a big difference too, but definitely on the table. No question, Soren's the better one.
Here is Heart of Kirin. He'll pass the turn back. Jessup will cycle a Canyon Slough. He'll untap. McDonough at 3. Jessup will draw. Andrew will start by plussing. Reveal a Gideon going up to you. And that is going to do it. Andrew Jessup going to win this match here over Ryan McDonough. 2-0. Mardu Vehicles takes this tournament down. And for another finals appearance here for Andrew Jessup, he finally walked out of here with a trophy. Congratulations to him.
He finally got a little bit of emotion. It was a sigh of relief.
Takes a lot to get it out of him, trust me.